So here is the Italian National Championships. It's a long course. It's pretty hilly. We've got this 4 circuits of this small climb. It's about a 250k circuit, so it's pretty decent. There's a lot of good World Tour teams, but along with stronger Italian Pro Conti teams who definitely have a larger presence in the race than any one World Tour team. So from the off, it was a pretty aggressive race. There wasn't too much, content before about 55 kilometers. But you can see there's 3 Bardiani CSF riders, and I think that's the theme of the day today. Bardiani got in every single break and did no chasing. And I think as a team, they've got some really good young riders like Zana, Pippo Fiorelli, as well as Tonelli as well. So altogether, they work really well. So this is coming up to one of the first times I went up the climb, and you can see Montier pacing really hard for Lorenzo Rota, finished second in the Giro d'Italia stage and super, super strong. And Aeolo Cometa, you can see here, they were chasing a lot. Third wheel is Samuele Battistella for Astana, and then behind that you also have Zana, but you can see none of the Trek riders managed to get across either. We also had Marco Tizza for Bingo's Pal Salson, who was also looking strong further up. He's in the fluoro yellow kit, but 30 seconds is the gap. But on this climb, they really start to go nuclear. And you can see at the top of your picture now, they're really starting to attack. It's starting to split. People are going left and right, trying to get up it, because this was really the main climb. It wasn't a super long climb, it wasn't super steep, but it sort of just, did enough to sap the legs. And you can see here, Rota's looking really strong with Zana on the wheel. Tizza's bridging across now, alongside Samuele Battistella for Astana. Behind this, Chaos Trek haven't made this. Trek obviously have a strong Italian lineup. Like Baroncini, who was looking decent, as well as obviously like Brambilla and all the rest of them. You can see here the Bardiani guys, they're still up the road, and this is really good because they didn't have to chase. Poor Aeolo Cometa got no one in the break yet again. They chased this break down from the Bardiani riders, and now they're having to get on the front and chase again. You can see Lorenzo Rota is really motivated to get this away. You can see there's a bit of chaos back here. Everyone's looking around. Astana aren't going to chase. They've got guys up the road. Trek are going across. Unfortunately for them, Aeolo Cometa get on the front and drill it. And the issue is, Aeolo Cometa are not strong enough to bring this back. They also don't really have a race winner. Maybe Diego Rosa on this finish, but it's tough. But realistically, they don't have enough riders to pull them back. UAE also have a strong lineup as well, but here you can see the guys in the break. Piccolo is there for Androni Giocattoli, or Dorone Hopper, Tizza, Maricelli, and a couple others. But a lot of the Bardiani guys had already been out at the break for a long time, so they were not to be feared too much. But again, you can see here, Aeolo on the front, whole team on the front, driving into this climb, and it's not going that quick. You can see this bunching up behind. It's just not hard enough. There's just no way that it's going to come back unless there's pressure on the climb. And Quick Step, to be honest, they should have done more realistically with the sort of guys they have here. Like Ballerini is probably a favourite on this course if you had a good team around him. I was surprised, to be honest, how lacking the World Tour teams were. But you can see here, they're really going pretty hard up this climb. Rota is looking super, super strong. They spat quite a lot of the riders already. I believe Pippo Fiorelli might have been spat from the initial group. There goes the last Bardiani rider, except Zan, I believe that was Matticelli, but correct me if I am wrong. And then, basically Rota's just looking strong. He knows what he needs to do. He wants it to be a hard race. He wants it to be hilly, make it hard on the climbs. Behind, again, you can see UAE are trying to launch for what I guess would be Trentin. But again, UAE, it's like, I don't know. They have a lot of good riders. Obviously, Corvi as well on this sort of finish. You can see big attacks. But again, Bardiani are marking this. Nicola Conci is going through Alpes and Phoenix, but Bardiani are everywhere. And that's the key thing. They follow every move. They've never been caught out. And that allows them really to race offensively and not have to defend, not have to waste riders. Like Aeolo Cometa have wasted all their riders, but they can't follow these moves. So what are they doing? It's way better. And obviously that's what they tried to. They're not idiots, but they just couldn't do it on the day, is to get up the road at all times. So then when the breaks come across to you, you're already there. You don't need to race negative. You don't need to chase. But you can see with 31 kilometers to go, we've still got 2 ascents left of the main climb. The break has thinned down a little bit, and these were the chasers: Aliotti, Ballerini, and Scaroni. Scaroni used to race for Gazprom, but now just races for the Italian national team. This looked like a strong break. They got it down to 30 seconds. It wasn't a minute, but you can see now on the climb with 20k to go, it's going back up to 40 seconds. And again, Rota on the front, absolutely drilling it. In between the climbs, there wasn't really too much occurring. Mainly it was just regroupings from behind, followed by attacking. And in the front group, that was basically it. See, Ballerini's got a spat here. Aliotti and Scaroni are still pushing on. And like they're just, you can see the speed they're going. It's just not fast enough to get across. The gap's coming out to 41 seconds. The group's coming back 50 seconds. It's one of those ones where it's really hard to bring it back because you've got this climb which disrupts all the chasing. It's really hard to chase well on the climb and the flat unless you're a really strong team, which there isn't a really strong World Tour team. I think, if you had a full strength Astana team, for instance, and it was Hillier and they all went in for Nibali, then maybe it was a different story. But you can see here Lotto Soudal going on the attack as well. This is with Filippo Conca. Like, he's looking strong again, but like there's just no way you're getting across. Actually, sorry, that's not Kea rider. Sorry, I got confused with him. I'm not actually sure who he was. But anyway, 19.6k to go, 43 seconds. I think if you're in the winning break, you think you've won this. And, the sort of regrouping behind is not good. Trek aren't organised. Bardiani is still up there, just causing chaos. It's not looking good. Conchi's going again for Alpecin Fenix. But again, Bardiani marking, and they're just not going to pull a turn. And that is really hard to motivate a chase if you know there's going to be a guy here just soft tapping. Look at it. It's just like, cheerio, thanks for coming. And this really was to be basically the end. After this, not much happened in the race. Ciccone couldn't do anything. Baroncini couldn't do anything for Trek. And this is out front still, 19.2k to go. And they're just, they know they've won it. Tietz's looking a bit battered on the back, and to be honest, he was battered. He did end up getting dropped towards the finale, and as we're about to see, it was really an unfortunate time mechanical for Andrea Piccoli, but somehow he managed to get it back on. You can see the chase behind. This is Baroncini and Pipo Fiorelli. And here we go again. This is just Piccolo trying to get back on. He does manage to get on after fixing his chain issues, but obviously that cost him a lot of energy. And to be honest, I mean, it was unfortunate at the time that no one's really going to wait up. They could have done, but why would you? I mean, you got someone else coming in. This boy does have an incredibly high saddle height. It's quite unbelievable, really. But Battistella, I think, on this finish, you think, okay, he probably has to go wrong. Broto, you think, again, he's got a decent kick, but it's not unbelievable. But I think the guy that probably was underrated was Pipo Zana. If you look at his results this year, they have been pretty decent. He's picked up a fair few wins. Adriatic Ionica, I believe he won a stage as well. It's just loading, sorry, Pro Cycling Stats. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he did win a stage. As well as looking good in other races this year. And he's just generally a strong guy, 23 years old. And he, again, I don't think really needs to chase anything. I think if it was up to Battistella to try and get away, he's more well known as a time trialist or a climber, not as much of a sprinter, and that's definitely not going to be ideal for him. Come against some faster riders. Piccolo, he's not. I think he's okay. I don't think he's anything special in terms of sprinting. But we've seen Rota before was looking good. Like he almost out sprinted the Alpecin rider in the final of the Giro before. This is Baroncini and Fiorelli. I don't know why Fiorelli's working, to be honest. It doesn't make any sense. Maybe he's just, pulling a turn here or there, but bringing Baroncini back into the fold is not great. Okay, you might have the numerical advantage, but World Tour Pro is a World Tour Pro. There's no real way that you're going to be able to get across. There's no way, it makes sense to drag him across. Why would you want more guys in the front? But I guess maybe at the time he was thinking about himself. Maybe he wanted a good result, and that was just how it was going to be. But anyway, still swapping turns and 2k to go. No one's really starting to park up properly, which is interesting. I think, traditionally you'd expect there to be a lot more parking up with 1.7k to go. You can see Zana's having a word with Piccolo being like, what are you doing? Yeah, so sorry, Zana did win Adriatica Ionica overall, but didn't win a stage. He came second in the first and second stages. Giro d'Italia, he had a couple decent results, like some top 20s, top 30s, but nothing crazy. But anyway, like a solid pro. Gran Camino, he finished second in the youth classification, 8th overall on a stage. So definitely someone who shouldn't be overlooked, but obviously was overlooked in this stage, in my opinion. I think Battistella probably did underestimate him, as well as Lorenzo Rota, who are the two World Tour guys. Probably just thought Pro Conti boy not going to be too strong. But with 1.2k to go, again, I think if you're Battistella, why are you pulling? I don't understand. I guess the thing is you always forget is I'm pretty sure they don't have race radios, so it's very hard for them to figure out. The motos will say what the motos can say, but often it's not very accurate and you don't know if you're going to trust them or not. But you can see there Zana was pulling in front of Piccolo. I think Piccolo now is really trying to not pull a turn at all. Fair enough, he did have a big chase on. I'm surprised they're so happy to let him go and no one's trying to take him off the back or anything. But under 1k to go now, Flamme Rouge time, and it's starting to get serious. We've seen the run in a couple times. It's basically pretty much looks flat-ish finish, couple bends towards the beginning of the sprint, but the end part is pretty straight on. It's really slowed down here. Time gap hasn't come down that much. So again, that probably indicates that people behind are soft tapping as well. You can see just from like how they're pedaling that they're not putting power through at the bottom of the pedal stroke. Generally indicates they're not doing too much power. They're just going around. No one wants to take the lead. Obviously, Battistella's looking around. Lorenzo Rota's looking confident. That no one's going to come around him. I mean, 500 meters to go, it would be a very bold to get around. Piccolo's just on the back. He looks like, I think he must know that he's got nothing in the legs because he had to do a big chase to get back on. No one's, because he's like, if you're a fourth man in the sprint, unless you're the best sprinter by a long way, you probably don't want to be here. You probably want to move up. Where Zana is looking pretty strong, to be honest, in third place. Battistella's obviously got the worst position. And here we're going to go to the helicopter shot, which is good. And you can see Rota leads it out very early. Battistella just like nowhere near him. Zana gets straight on the wheel, comes around. And at this point here, with a couple chicanes, you think, okay, maybe it was a good idea going early, but it just wasn't. It's actually quite a long way. He went about 300 meters, and the last 150 meters is pretty open, pretty straight. And Zana gets that by half a bike length. Battistella a little bit further behind, and then Piccolo actually got a time gap, to be fair. But anyway, that's a huge win for Zana, huge win for Bardiani GSF there, and I think it goes to show that they did race very smart on the day. They understood that they need to be in the mix the whole time and follow every single move, because here, Pipo Fiorelli, okay, he couldn't outsprint Baroncini, but even so, he's in the break, he's in the move. So yeah, really good riding from them. Super excited to bring you this. Tomorrow I'm going to have the Eritrean National Champs, and I'll try and see if I can get some others sorted out for you. So anyway, cheers for watching, hope you enjoy. I'll see you in the next one.